You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Welcome to the One More for the Good Guys podcast, where good guys gather to shed light on the good life, the people, and the good things that make it that way. I'm Mike McGill with my co-host, Jamie Akins. Now, raise your glass, lend us your ear, and let's have one more for the good guys. Now, sorry, don't cut it. Hey, everybody, McGill Billy here.
And I'm Jamie.
Welcome to One More for the Good Guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming back. We appreciate all of our supporters, all our subscribers to here on the YouTube channel, as well as all of the social media outlets that we have. We thank you so much for your patronage and your support. If you haven't liked and or subscribed to any of the social media content that we have, we're out there on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and
YouTube.
the YouTubes right here. So like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It is an absolute 100% free way to support the channel, and I promise you it really does help our efforts. So if you haven't done that yet, do it. If you have done it, thank you. Any way that whether you come out to a show, you've bought tickets to the Christmas Spectacular, you've come seen us play somewhere, and or watching us, and or supporting us on following us on the social medias, any way that you've done anything to help us, thank you. That being said, what are we smoking today, Jamie?
We are smoking the Nicaraguan series by AJ Fernandez.
Yes, in Toro. It's regular Parejo shape, so it's in the round. It is a budget line, they say, by AJ. I don't know anywhere you can get them around here other than Good Guys. And they've, I tried them back years ago, I think when they first came out, and I right away realized that I liked them and started getting them. And now we've got at least a couple of customers that they re-up on these every month. So 6x52 in Toro. It comes in a Churchill. It comes in a Robusto. I think it's just the 3 sizes. They may have a Rothschild or a smaller size as well, but Toro's 5x50. This one's 6x52. The Churchill is a 7x48. So all of them pretty traditional in their sizes. Nicaraguan Puro, all of the stuff that has been grown on AJ's farm there in Nicaragua.
Nicaragua.
My cousin Speedy. Also, you're going to get lots of, the tasting notes of this. You're going to get some real earthy sweetness, a little bit of pepper, but it's not heavy pepper like a lot of
medium
AJ blends.
Yeah.
A lot of AJ. There's several that's not. There's a few that's not, but there's several that most of the time when he blends something, they're going to be pretty pepper
especially
heavy.
if it's Nicaraguan.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I'm just saying AJ's blends specifically. He likes the pepper. But you're going to get a lot of earthy sweetness, some coffee. I think you get a little bit of like cocoa powder.
Yeah.
And stuff like that out of it. But the big thing you get out of it is you get a top-notch cigar at a great, great price. And we got these by the bundles and or by the box. So that being said, look there, right here. Fucker.
Invasion of the
Has
honky
anybody else got problems with stink bugs? This is the bane of my existence, I swear. I don't know. I mean, the honky tonk,
Well, they like to party.
I guess they like to party. That's the only thing I can think about it. And I guess that's fine, but I hate those bastards. So if you got some way to get rid of them or know some things about them,
Well, if you need to know a way to get rid of them,
DDT, I don't give a damn. Agent R, I'll spray anything.
DMSO,
I hate them.
whatever.
Yes.
You remember DMSO?
No, I remember the.
People use
I
it
remember
for liniment.
the acronym.
Yeah,
but I don't
DMSO.
remember.
Yeah, it was some kind of, reminds me of one of the Andy Griffith episodes where the peddling salesman comes and sells the tonic. It's like one of those,
Yeah.
DMSO, got to get it. Rubbing on my knees.
Yeah. Well, these are fantastic, and we got them. Jamie's been working real hard on the website as well. You can go to goodguyscigars. All the rest of.
Really only
There.
good guy cigars on the planet Earth. So really the dot doesn't matter.
Right.
Just Google it.
We could tell you all about prices. We could tell you more so about how to get them and offer you a sale right here today and all that good stuff. But the YouTubes hates that. I hear from contemporaries and for other people in the business in the national market that Rumble is the way to go, that it's kicking everybody's ass in the cigar business. See, we can't advertise due to federal laws with tobacco. I think the last time anything was advertised tobacco wise was after a Johnny Carson show, like in I think it was like all the way to like 92 or something
Really?
like there, 82 maybe.
82
for
maybe.
some reason that's sticking in my mind, but that's back in the good old days when 9 out of 10 doctors approved smoking, and
It's toasted.
that smooth, rich taste of Camel cigarettes.
It's
Kids love
Lucky
it.
Strike. It's
You don't
toasted.
even have to roll your windows down
That's
in
right.
the car, right?
That's right. Kids love it.
Obviously, we jest. But go to the website, check it out. Jamie's been working real hard on the website, and there's a new feature there on the website as well that's, what's it called? The if we don't have it, if it's new to you, new to us,
if we don't have it, click here to order.
But what's the banner? What does it say on the banner?
I think that's what it says.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Something of that
I'm
nature.
sorry.
I'll look it up.
But anyway, we've got that feature. So if you don't see something rather on the website, and we don't have everything we have in our inventory listed as of yet. We've got, I think, 20 different things.
Don't see it, click here.
Don't see it, click here. There's a banner
At the top and the bottom.
If you see that, click it, and it will take you to a deal, and you can sign up for the email updates. But the big thing is there you can say what you want.
Correct.
So give us the name or the blend and the size, and we'll get back to you within 48 hours with an answer on
Price and when you can get it.
and when you can get it.
Yep.
So good guys the rest. Go check that out. Today we was wanting to talk about this is a wonderful time of year. We just got out of the NCAA tournaments, or I guess by the time this airs, we'll be out of the NCAA tournaments. Tennessee made it to another Elite Eight with a monumental effort. Great story, great team, all that good stuff. And I guess the surprise of the year is the Lady Vols. Would you imagine? I mean, having a brand new coach that's only coached in Division II, never had a Division I job, and the first year at a major state-ran university in Division I women's basketball, and goes to the Sweet 16. pretty impressive.
Beats Connecticut at home.
Yeah.
First time in 17 years, I think, 18, something like that.
And Connecticut's probably going to win it all.
If they don't, I'll be amazed.
Yeah, I would too.
They're just.
I think that's even who we picked.
It is. I think both of our picks. That's who I picked on my bracket.
Women's.
But I think I didn't get anything else right on the men's bracket, but I've got the winner right. I don't think anybody can beat Duke right now.
I don't know. That Florida-Auburn game is going to be a barn burner. And I'll tell you what, man, the Duke-Houston game is going to be really good too.
I really like the way Houston plays.
Well,
they play bigger than they are.
They play bigger than they are. And you know what I just learned about Houston is, everybody that's on their roster has been there 4 years. I mean, not everyone, but they have returning players. Their starting players are returning players. They're not portal players.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against portal players. I mean, obviously we've had two incredible
back-to-back seasons
players
with great players. Yeah.
But in today's day and age, it's going to be even more impressive. We were talking about it right before the thing was, Ziegler and Meshack might be the only two players that might be the last two players that we have that's got an entire tenure here at UT.
Sad too.
It's very sad.
I think there's going to have to be, this is a tangent, but anyway, back to the basketball. I think that we exceeded expectations with the Lady Vols, and I think we met expectations. Realistically, before the season, I didn't think this team would be as good as last year's team.
No.
Now, the results were the same.
There were a lot of unanswered things there.
Yeah, the results were the same, but I thought this year's team had a shot to get it.
I thought this year's team was more team, and I also thought due to their conditioning and due to them having to rely on the limited amount of starting and backup players that they had on the bench, I thought that would really shine through. And you know what? It did. I mean, Houston has been to the Final Four 7 times in history of the school and never won it.
Never won it.
The most winning coach of all time, other than Wooden, has won 5?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's hundreds of years since it's been going on. So it's
hard.
It's freaking hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. So to get to what we did, and especially coming from, the days of Donnie Tyndall and Kevin O'Neal and all the bullshit we went through with head coaches as well, kind of mirrored the football team, if you will, for a long time. I thought it was a tremendous effort, and I was really proud of the guys, really proud of Coach Caldwell and the Lady Vols. Tony V got the baseball team rocking and rolling.
Just got engaged too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So good things. Things are looking good. Spring practice just started here, or all over the country for football.
We're not in a slump at all in any sport.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, we just beat Oklahoma in that softball in a series.
Yeah, so which was
big deal.
Pulling Superman's cape off.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Oklahoma was a big deal and has been for many years. But
that pitcher's tough, man.
My point to all of this is it's a great time. It's a great time of year. And one of the things that really makes this great for myself and makes it one of my favorite times of the year is when I get to turn on the TV and I hear, "Hello, friends. Welcome to a tradition unlike any other. The Masters." It's
with no commercials. on
well,
some channels.
I've got some interesting facts about and commercials being one of them. But real quick, so our today's episode, the meat of our episode is going to be about the Masters. We want to tell you a little bit of fun facts and some things maybe you didn't know, and all that good stuff about the course, about the tournament itself, some of the participants, the holes, how Amen Corner got its name, things like that. So if you love the springtime, you love, Major League Baseball, the red buds are blooming, fish are biting, NCAA tournaments, and the Masters. I mean, Easter's coming up. I mean, it's just one of my favorite times of the year, is the spring, because we got new life popping up everywhere. So,
baseball.
And baseball. I said MLB.
Yeah, and baseball.
But in 1934, Bob Jones and Clifford Roberts organized the first event, later named the Masters Tournament at Augusta. The Masters Tournament was called the Augusta National Invitational for the first 5 years, until Mr. Jones and Mr. Roberts realized that everybody was calling it the Masters except for them. Of course, the first tournament was held March 22nd, 1934. But since 1940, the Masters was scheduled for the first full week, Sunday to Sunday, in April of each year. Who's won the most tournaments?
Most Masters tournaments?
Yeah, we all know this.
Nicklaus.
Yeah, Jack, the Golden Bear. Jack Nicklaus has won the most Masters tournaments with 6, and Tiger Woods being second place with 5.
Jack's also got the most second place finishes in the Masters, I bet.
Probably so. Jack was the oldest player to win a Masters tournament at the age of 46.
My first golf memory.
Yeah, mine too. I love the call. He hit that eagle putt. He was, I think it was on, was it 13? Or I believe it was, I can't remember. Was it 5 or 6?
I don't remember.
I think it might have been
12.
at any rate. It was either 13 or it might have been at 6. I can't remember. But at any rate, he looks at his son who's caddying, and the story goes, he goes, boy, a 3 would go a long way here, wouldn't it? And he had like 214 yards out and hits a 1-iron, on the stick. And he hits the putt. And I believe it was Ken Ventura who made the call, but he said, the bear has came out of hibernation. And I thought, holy cow, that's pretty good right there. So in 1949, the first green jacket was awarded to that year's Masters champion, Sam Snead. And those green jackets are made still to this day by a company in Augusta. I can't remember the name of the company, but and they can only be worn while at the golf course and have to remain there. So you can't
check your coat at the door.
Yeah. And you can't take it out and, you can't go on Jimmy Fallon and wear your green jacket. And the biggest reason why is, believe it or not, in the history of since the green jacket's been given as the prize or as one of the prizes, there has been one that was found in a thrift store of all places and auctioned for $250,000.
Wow.
So
whose was it?
I can't remember. It was an older one. But I just seen that the other night. I did a YouTube. I mean, we got it playing on the TV right now, replay.
Only one in circulation, basically.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I think, and it may, if I'm not mistaken, and I could just made this part up, but I think it eventually got bought back by
Augusta.
Or the Masters. Tiger Woods, youngest player to win a Masters tournament at 21 years of age.
1997.
Yeah. And didn't just win it. Destroyed it.
Made them change the course because of it.
Yeah, that's right. They started adding to the course. Let's see. Amen Corner refers to holes number 11, 12, and 13. In 1958, a famed Sports Illustrated writer named Herbert Warren Wind named the second half of the number 11, 12, and 13 Amen Corner. This is where the critical action took place that year, and he borrowed the name from an old jazz recording called Shouting at Amen Corner.
Nice. I had no idea.
Yeah. Rays Creek, which is a very, it's right there, is, for those of you that can't see, I have 3 pictures, 8x10s of 11, 12, and 13 of the of Amen Corner hanging on the wall over here. Creek runs in front of the number 12 green as a tributary at the number 13 tee and passes back by the number 11 green. Was named after John Ray. Ray's house kept residents safe during Indian attacks. It was the furthest fortress up the Savannah River from Fort Augusta. Let's see. The pine trees that you see, towering pine trees everywhere all over the, I guess maybe why that term, higher than a Georgia pine, right? Several species grow along the course, including loblolly pines, shortleaf pines, slash pines, longleaf pines, and eastern white pines. We used to have a teacher that had a paddle aptly named the white pine.
Say it.
Mr. Lyons, 7th grade science teacher.
That's right.
And not only would he bust your ass with the white pine, when you got in trouble, he'd walk you all the way to the office, set you in front of the principal, say why you were in trouble, and then make you walk all the way back just to get the white pine and bring it back to him and then get your ass busted.
Nowadays, Mr. Lyons would be in jail, wouldn't he?
Yes. For sure. Magnolia Lane extends from the entrance gate to the clubhouse. There's 61 magnolia trees that line both sides of a 330-yard road that date all the way back to the late 1850s. There you will wind up at Founders Circle, where there is at the base of the flagpole in front of the clubhouse 2 plaques there to honor the Masters founders Bob Jones and Clifford Roberts, as well as the little logo, the yellow United States with the pin there where the state of Georgia would be. Let's see. One of the amazing things about the Masters is out of all of golf's major tournaments, it's the only one that's played at the same place every year.
That's right.
British Open is played, or the Open, as we call it now, is played at a different series of courses each year.
U.S. Open as well.
The U.S. Open as well, and then the PGA.
That's right.
And then the Masters. So there's no wonder why the lore and the history and everything has been more touted, glorified, pronounced than it is at other places, because, those same fairways, those same bunkers, those same greens, those same.
Yeah.
Where giants roamed,
on Sunday, if you win that tournament, you're walking where right up 18. You're walking where the legends of the game were. Very private about the course in general, right? So
Oh, super crazy private. And, you know, um, you know, I heard an interesting story. So Eisenhower played more rounds there than any other U.S. president. And actually, there's the Eisenhower cabin that they had, I believe they built and then Secret Service proofed it, where him and the First Lady would go when they would go there on their vacations. And of course, there's several things about Eisenhower that also goes with that. There was there's a famous oak tree that's named after General Eisenhower. A pond. Let's see here. Oh, and another interesting thing that I found out was evidently President Reagan visited on one of his visits there playing while he was in the clubhouse. Wasn't held hostage, but actually had somehow or some or another, they had he got rushed by an individual. Yeah. Which I found pretty interesting.
You are down there in peanut farmer land. That's Jimmy Carter territory.
Well,
somebody was mad, probably.
And at that time, and don't forget, Reagan was probably the most, other than Trump here last year, was probably the last U.S. president that ever had any kind of assassination attempt that we know of.
Well, but shot fired.
Yes, and actually injured.
Which was a fluke thing, that whole story. But anyway, didn't know that he got held hostage.
I wish I had better. I wish I had written that down. Each hole is named after a plant or a shrub because it was originally bought for $70,000 back then. And it was bought because the entire property was a nursery by Dutch immigrants who had a working nursery business there. That's why all of the holes are named after plants or shrubs, flowers. For example, like number 3 is called flowering crab. Number 11's white dogwood. 12 is the golden bell, and 13 is azalea.
Have you been there?
No. I'd love to go. I put in several years to be a volunteer, just to get picked as a volunteer to go work to where you could be there. But I haven't ever got to be. The club was conceived by Bobby Jones and Clifford Roberts. Their vision was to establish a national membership for the club. They took a $70,000 option on a 365-acre property called Fruitland Nurseries. Jones and Alistair Mackenzie of Scotland designed the course. Construction began in 1931. Course opened in 32 with limited play, and the formal opening was 33. And of course, as we said at the first, 1934 was the first actual Masters tournament.
One
Oh God, I have no idea. The big thing about it too was that Bobby Jones was probably, who would it be? Bobby Jones, Nicholas, Tiger.
As far as the Mount Rushmore guys that made the most impact,
I mean,
had to be those.
Yeah.
Palmer's got to be on there too.
I would think Arnie.
But as far as the best golfers,
Jones was never a professional.
Right.
He was a complete amateur. And he also was the first and only one to ever win the U.S. Open, the British Open, the Masters, and is it the PGA? It's not the
PGA Championship.
Yes.
And the amateur thing in the same.
Yeah. All of them in the same year.
Yeah.
Calendar year.
Yeah. Tiger did it consecutively on the 4 majors, but calendar year, Jones is the only one and it will be the last one too, because
I don't
now you might get 4 majors won, but also with the U.S. Amateur Championship too, or whatever it's called, you're not going to get, there ain't some damn rookie going to come out and win all 4 majors after winning them. You know, I mean, and you know, either way.
But Bobby Jones, we can't talk enough about the impact of him. When he first seen the property, his remarks were, "This land has been here all this time, waiting on somebody to lay a golf course upon it." And there's a famous picture. We might try to, I don't know. There's so many famous pictures of the Master, but there's a famous picture of Bobby Jones, and they've got a bunch of stuff. They've got a bunch of trees clear cut, and he is standing in his tie, vest, jacket, but he's standing up. I don't think it's a stump, but it's a log that's down, and he's just, just so real stoic, like, looking around, saying, "This is where we're gonna." No telling what was going through his head. The Crow's Nest, getting back to the amateur thing, the Crow's Nest is a 30 by 40 room atop the clubhouse, available as living quarters for as many as 5 amateurs during the Masters. So each year there is there's 5 amateurs that get picked. So the person who wins, like the European amateur, the Asian amateur, it's international,
right,
as well as the U.S. amateur. They all get picked for the ones who won their respected tournaments. They get picked to be at the Masters and actually get to compete. Because of the legacy and the rules put in by Bobby Jones way back when. So, actually a pretty...
What happens if one of them wins?
It's never happened.
Right, but do they take the money and they're no longer, or they can deny the money?
I don't know. That would be a good...
Bobby Jones question, but he is not here.
Yeah. He is not here. Alistair McKenzie, again, architect, one of the course architects, never got to saw the course completed.
Sucks.
He died January 6, 1934, 2 months before the inaugural Masters tournament.
Sucks.
Now, Augusta doesn't really look anything like it originally did when it was first opened. It took 15 different architects to make changes to the course since 1935. And the biggest reason that they made these changes, biggest reason that they made these changes was technology. The golf clubs, the golf balls, the guys were just hitting. I mean, like when Tiger... Perfect example when he won. So 13 Azalea is a par 5, and it's one of the shortest par 5s. But the way it was designed, it basically, in the landing area for where drives would normally go, even for long hitters. They go a little bit past it. It's 35 yards wide. It has a 37-degree slope from right to left. So it basically, Bristol racetrack is 36 degrees. So, get your protractor out and look at that.
The ball's going left.
Yes, yes. But Tiger was actually cutting the corner and hitting it over all the trees to where no one would ever attempt that. And that course designed, because it was such a short par 5, the second shot was made for contemplation. Basically, it was whether or not the risk is worth the reward to try to go for it in 2.
Right.
And Tiger and a lot of the other long hitters
took a lot of that risk away.
Took almost all of it away.
Because now they're hitting a short iron into it instead of
now they're hitting driver wedge instead of driver, 3 iron or 4 iron. But at any rate, it took 15 different architects to make changes to the course since 1935. The original routing is the only thing that has stayed the same, except the front 9 and the back 9 flipped. So 11, 12, 13 was 1, 2, and 3.
4, 5, 6.
Well, it was 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay.
Or excuse me. Maybe it was. Any rate, it's at the lowest point of the golf course, and they decided to flip it and make that.
When did they do that? Before our time?
It was in the 30s.
Okay.
Or, no, you know what? For some reason, 1950, it might have been before that. But for some reason, 1955 is sticking. That's the number it's sticking into my mind.
Before our time.
It is before our time.
Yeah.
That could have been a much easier way to answer that, couldn't it?
Yeah. So 10 would have been 1 on the back. So that's 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
So I guess you just subtract 9, as it were, huh? Now that I think about it. But yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't. But any modern thing, any modern player that we know or saw played it the way it is, or the order it is.
Yes. The one thing that TV doesn't do justice from everybody that I've spoke that go there is the amount of elevation change and the slope of, from everything from the roughs to the fairways to just the walking of the actual course itself. It is very, very, very hilly. Gary Player is the only Masters winner to not have his jacket locked up at Augusta. He was able to keep it by forgetting to bring it back after he won the 1961 tournament. It can be seen at the World Golf Hall of Fame in St. Augustine, Florida. Color of the famous jacket has changed over the years from forest green to hunter green, and due to the change in manufacturers and tailors, the green color of the jackets have many different hues. Masters, the tournament has gone to extra holes a whopping 21% of the time, including the 2012 and 2012 winner Bubba Watson and 2013 winner Adam Scott. Let's see. So that's some fun things about the Masters.
Just thinking about while you're talking about all that stuff, it's one of the few sporting events that you don't have to be a fan of the particular sport.
Yeah.
Or if you are a fan of a particular sport, you don't have to be informed as to who the current players are to enjoy the Masters. I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, The scoreboards are still are all operated by hand. One of the great things, now you were talking about commercials and not having commercials and all that stuff. So for years, as when we were teenagers, there were, and I don't know when this ended, but there were two companies that advertised commercials. There were only two commercials that you seen from two companies on Masters broadcast. That one was Cadillac and the other was Travelers Insurance. Now, I have since learned that the reason behind that, as well as the reason behind the commercials today, is that they do not sell the rights to CBS to air the Masters. And the reason why is because they can be in 100% control of everything and anything that's going to come on TV during the coverage. So from commercials to product placement to whatever, they have 100% control. The souvenirs that are sold, there will be roughly 5,000 people on any given weekend come through the Augusta airport. At Masters weekend, there'll be 70,000 people come through the airport. The club, I'm going to try to get this right. Souvenir sales that you can only buy there. You can't buy any Masters anything anywhere else in America. Take a guess what their sales number is
for the week.
For the tournament, for the week. How many dollars do you think they rake in? What's the amount?
It's got to be a lot.
It's a lot.
10 million.
$70 million in souvenirs.
Where do they put them on? Oh, they're charging big bucks for them.
Well,
that too, right?
I would say yes, but I think just because you can only get it there, that they deal in such sheer volume. And you would think, okay, I can go over here to the baseball stadium or the football stadium over at UT, and a 24-ounce beer costs us, is it 24 ounce? Is it a stovepipe or is it a tall boy? I think it's a stovepipe. I think it's 24 ounce.
I think so.
But they're $15.
Yeah.
At the Masters, beer is $5.
Really?
Concessions, such as the world famous pimento cheese sandwich, $1.50. If you bought everything on the menu that they offer at the restaurant or at the snack stations or restaurants, whatever, if you ordered the entire menu, it would only cost $66. They have kept all of that to a minimum and at the same pricing for years, just so
people don't have to leave.
I mean, pretty amazing.
So they make 70 million in sales on shirts.
On just souvenirs.
Yeah, souvenirs.
But, that's going to be flags. That's going to be T-shirts. That's going to be warm-ups. That's going to be 3/4, zip golf shirts, bucket hats, caps, ball markers, tees, pencils, underwear, everything.
What do they charge for a ticket?
So if you get picked for the lottery, and you go, let's say you get picked for the lottery because they do a lottery every year. It's basically 100 to I'm going to generalize this. So I'm going to say anywhere between 100 to 150
a day.
And that's if you get picked. And that's not going to be on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. That's not going to be during the tournament. That's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Practice rounds.
Which, honestly, if you're not, if you're going, I'd be good with that.
Me too.
If I didn't, I heard a guy on YouTube, and I can't remember the channel, but he was saying that the few times that he's gotten to go, and I heard Fred Couples say this too, is when he gets to go, this guy, I heard Fred Couples say that he'll play 9 holes with Tiger and somebody, Justin Thomas, I believe, and then he'll play 5 with Rory or play 9, you know. But then the rest of the time during practice rounds, or he just walks the course. He's like, and that's what this guy was saying. He said, I would recommend when the tournament starts, he said, go watch the first, the honorary starters, which, in years past was Arnie and Jack and Gary Player. Now it's just Jack and Gary Player. I don't know if they'll have a third one this year or not. But he said, I went and seen the first group, the honorary starters, and then seen the first group tee off. And he said, then I immediately went to the back. He said, there's nobody there. There's no fans. Look here on the sumbitch. There's nobody there. And he just walked the back 9 by himself.
No, by himself.
Yeah.
And nobody stopped him.
No.
Because the course
is open. So I thought, if you'd ever get to go, that would probably be a really, really cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Just to be.
I hear it's exhausting.
Yeah.
To walk. It's a.
Well, Rob went 3. Good friend of ours. I think 3 or 4, maybe. Well, no, it was probably 5. I think it was the year Sergio won it. So that would have been pre-COVID.
Right. Yeah.
And he went and he said, man, when you get done, he said, when that tournament's over, he said, you are absolutely worn to a frazzle.
I bet. And he's in shape too.
Yeah. Rob's in fairly good shape.
Compared to us, is what I mean. We die. I'd be dead at hole 2.
Oh, we could do it.
I'd do it slowly.
Well, sure. But so at any rate, of course, my iPad takes a shit right where I'm about to do the thing. But at any rate, lots of really cool things about the Masters. Let me see if I can think of anything else that I remember right off the top of my head. I think that was the biggest things.
What are your biggest Masters moments, you think? I know what mine are.
Oh, I definitely Jack in 86, Freddie in 92.
Yeah.
I was not I was not per se a fan of either one of these guys, but the year they won it, one guy won it twice. But when Nick Faldo had to beat Ray Floyd in a playoff, that was a big year. And that was for his second Masters.
Yeah.
And then
the year that Greg Norman blew it, man, that's the year that I remember most, next to the 86 year.
Yeah.
And then Tiger's first year. Although when Tiger won, he was brand new to me. I didn't know much about him.
I was in Bristol that year. It was around the time for the race. And I was working at Beatty Chevrolet at the time, and I worked with a guy named Joel Allison. And Joel was a complete golf nut, really good golfer, but totally
in the know.
totally in the know and knew every bit of, like, if there would have been if there'd been a show, if there'd been a category on Jeopardy about the Masters, Joe would have known it. Everyone, he would have said, and I'll take another daily double, Trebek. I mean, he just knew everything.
And that's
Yeah, pre-internet for sure. And Joel,
pre-handy internet anyway.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But Joel, we were there at a house, and we were watching the Masters. I don't know if this was the day. Yeah, it was. I think it was after the race because we were spending the night there. But just every shot, you had Joel call. It was like, you guys don't understand what this kid's doing right now and how big he's going to be. So I would say top moments for me would be 86 and Jack, 92 with Couples, Norman. What about the Spieth meltdown? That was pretty damn iconic too. I mean, he had just won it the year before or 2 years before.
I've not watched it much though recently, so those moments don't.
Well,
I mean, I've watched it, but I don't follow those. It meant more when I knew the players better, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when, those things you just named.
Mm-hmm.
Mickelson's first one was...
he had a 7 at 12 and had the lead.
Yeah.
And was basically was going to win it back to back. And he was 22. So, I mean, he would have been the youngest ever to win it back to back. So that, Norman, and then, like I say, the playoff with Faldo and Ray Floyd, because I was really pulling for Ray Floyd.
I liked his swing.
Oh, and it had more moving parts than a Swiss watch.
He went on and did really well on the senior tour too.
Oh yeah, I mean, he had a heck of a career all the way around. But those are some fun things. That's all I can. That's all I've came up with and right off the top of my head. But it's a great time, even if you don't like golf. It's just so. The coverage, the announcers, everybody does such a good job. They've got everything mic'd. I mean, it's just like you're sitting outside. You hear the birds.
Beautiful.
It's actually,
just gorgeous. That the way they, especially now that it's in HD, where you can just see the blades of grass and stuff.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, everything is just to perfection. They have. Air and heating systems under the greens to where if it's too dry, it puts moisture. If it's too wet, it takes moisture away.
$70 million.
Yeah. I mean, the tee boxes.
Souvenir sales will pay for
it. So in some of the crosswalk sections where the fans walk, there was somebody fell one year and got hurt. They ripped the whole thing up and put that same thing underneath there to where there'll never be somebody slip ever again. For a freaking crosswalk and a $1.50 pimento cheese sandwich and a $5 beer. I mean, pretty cool. But it's beautiful. It's really it is, as Jim Nance says, it's like a tradition, unlike any other. And I love it every year when it comes around. It's worth covering. It's worth talking about. Get you a cigar, sit back and watch the Masters. And if nothing else, you'll have a really good nap.
Oh, yeah.
Because everything.
Nance, you can fall asleep to him, man.
Yeah. The commentary.
Even tone, that music.
Yeah. Everything's very calming. Unless you're standing on 12 trying to figure out what club to hit 155 yards. Yeah, there ain't nothing calming about playing it. Or the second shot on 13. Should I go for it or not? Any rate, that's it. That's that about the Masters. Final thoughts on the AJ, Nicaraguan series.
One Trick Pony. Like you said, cocoa powder, a little chocolatey, very little pepper.
A little sweetness.
A little sweetness, but it's mine started out as a little buttery too. But anyway, they call it a value stick, but it doesn't smoke like it's great smoke. I mean, I don't know if I like this size or the Churchill better, but time will tell.
You know, I think I like the Churchill better. And I've said this before. One of the reasons I like this, 6x52, that's very traditional Toro size, but I like a 5x50 Robusto and I like a 7x48 Churchill.
Or 47 if you can get one.
But
yeah.
And I think AJ just does. I think out of most of the blends that I like of his, my favorites, I think he does Churchill size really well.
Well,
it's just personal opinion.
As we've talked about many times, Toro is by far the best-selling size in America, by far. So, and that's great and all. Everybody thinks bigger's better in this country. So, but you're probably missing out on some of the smokes that you're smoking because they're better in a different size. I know that sounds silly, but they are. They're different.
Big thoughts and prayers go out to AJ Fernandez. As of March 31st, there was a fire that consumed millions of cigars at the factory in Esteli in Nicaragua.
Oh, no.
According to Rafael Nodell, the vice president of product capability at Altadis USA, Tabacalera USA, and very close to the situation, which he and AJ did the blends on the Aging Room Quattro, which you can find at Good Guys. And they also did the blend on the Monte Cristo 1935 Nicaraguan series, which you can find with us as well.
That's a number one cigar of the year and a number two cigar of the
year. The fire began in the packaging department, an area of the factory where finished cigars are labeled, put into cellophane sleeves, and boxed for shipment. It is unclear exactly which brands were consumed by the fire, but AJ Fernandez produces cigar lines for Aging Room, Monte Cristo, Romeo y Julieta, for Altadis USA, Diesel, Man of War. He also makes for Scandinavian Tobacco Group himself, of series, the New World Series, Enclave, and San Lantano. So we're big AJ fans. We've got a bunch of AJ stuff. Checked out the website, but more importantly, thoughts and prayers go out to those that'll be affected by the misfortune of that fire in Esteli.
All the employees are going to be out of a job.
Yeah, I mean,
for a while.
As if you followed us for any time at all, you'll know the time process that it takes for 300 sets of hands between seed to us smoking it. So you just can't say, well, we'll plant something tomorrow and it'll be ready to go. Yeah. This takes years.
8 years.
Takes years. So thoughts to them. Folks, thanks again for all the support. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in next time to the podcast. We'll have more cigar content. We'll have more things that are going on in the news. Try to touch on a little bit of this and that. And but one of the big things we try to say each and every time is be kind to one another. We're going through some turbulent times. There's lots of mixed feelings in the world right now, especially between Americas. And if there was any time that we need to not be any more divided than what we already are in our current situations, it's right now. So be kind to one another. It doesn't cost a dime to be kind, but there's always a certain price to be paid for cruelty. So you want to do another one?
Sure.
You heard it here. Cheers. One more for the good guys.
I'll be gone in the morning before the sun comes up, with me and my weenie dog and my pickup truck. And either way, baby, a good man, it's hard to find. I said, now either way, baby, a good man is hard to find.